afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. While my slides get put up, I'll just give a brief introduction of myself and what I represent. Yeah, so my name is Ikechukwu Uche, like Chinwe just said. Not the footballer. I'm not the footballer, so bear that in mind. I'm a Port Harcourt boy. I grew up here in Port Harcourt school and everything. Some may call me a geek, some may call me a nerd, some may call me... My nickname in school was Dexter. If you know what Dexter or who Dexter is. Currently, I do a 9 to 5, a 7 to 4 job. So I have a daily job. I do project management. But I have a passion for IT, for IM, for things like this. Okay? I have interests ranging from computer programming through electronics, engineering generally. I love to read books. So there I am. I have a personal mission to transform life as it is using computers, using IT, using technology. And that's part of the reason we set up FocusHub, myself and my colleague. By the way, I'm here standing in the place of Godson Oborogo. He's the co-founder. I'm standing in the place of him. He was able to make it here today. So we set up FocusHub just to help us do that. Similar to what Uche mentioned, I don't want to repeat what he said, but we just discovered that we have a need in this part of the world, in this part of the country. So it's not a competition, so to speak, but we discovered that we need to help people around this part of the world to bring their ideas to fruition. Not everybody has the resources or the opportunities to get to Lagos. So why don't we do something to help people? Okay. I was glad to hear that I have just 10 minutes to talk because I'm a man of few words. So in conclusion, yeah, I'm actually 75% Igbo. So you can ask me later about the other 25%. You know what they say about Igbo people? They say we like money. You know, it's actually amusing. I don't get offended by it. It's amusing because I know that even the people saying that also like money. Because if they didn't, they will give me their money. Another set of people I know who like money. Another set of people are startups. Maybe more than us, maybe more than Igbo people. They like money. Yeah. This talk is particularly targeted at potential investors, Lexi, and other people. I believe we have a few other investors here. I believe we have friends and family members of startup owners and entrepreneurs. I hope we have people in government here as well. This talk is primarily targeted to people like that. Just to try to make a case for funding for startups. So it's not necessarily new material, it's not necessarily something that we don't do, but I believe that we need to sort of make an emphasis or place an emphasis on that. Funding is not necessarily cash. Yeah, it could be in kind. It could be internet packages, it could be equipment, it could be resources, it could be, you can actually measure it in a lot of different dimensions, but funding is what we're talking about. My friend Lucia, I have a friend Lucia, in one of our conversations, she said, poor man idea, not dream me. Okay? A poor man's idea. We're all Ajabota people here. We didn't seem to understand what I said. A poor man's idea is really just a dream. That's what she said. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. Because what it means is that basically everything we will see pitched here, every idea will just be a lot of hot air if they cannot find funds to actualize their dreams, if they cannot find funds to bring those things to reality. And I have a few, okay, my slides are on. Can you move to the next slide, please? Right, the next one. Yes, so I have a few references just to support Lucia's argument, as well as my own argument. There's an article by the Forbes magazine, and this article highlights that startups need 100% of their capital to start. It actually identifies lack of capital as the number one reason why startups fail. It sounds, like I said, it sounds like this is something we know. Yeah, but it will interest you to know that the same article puts lack of a business plan as number 5 reason. That sounds counterintuitive, but I think there's some reality in that. Yet another article by the Business Insider website, it says that the private sector economy has a lifeblood and it is startups. Port Harcourt or Nigeria, or you can use the South as a case in point. If you do not have these kind of organizations, these kind of companies, these kind of setups running, you would struggle to meet the development goals of government. Alright, so this article, like I said, identified startups and it makes recommendations, and it listed funding and investment as the number 2 recommendation. Okay, so it says that actually recommends for community banks to be set up to support startups and entrepreneurs. Please, just when I mention startups, I also refer to entrepreneurs. Again, there is a third reference. Next slide, please. This was a survey by CB Insights, surveyed 101 failed startups, and it identified as the number 2 reason why startups fail, that they ran out of cash. Just to add value, the number 1 reason is no market need. So if you have a startup, if you have an idea, you need to be sure that there is really a need for it in the market. But cash is the number 2 reason why startups fail. So like I said, we know this, but somehow hearing from others or hearing it again puts it in perspective, or places some emphasis on it. Coming closer home, on the positive side, there was, I'm sure a lot of us, or some of us would have heard about the UWIN program. The federal government of Nigeria launched the UWIN program in 2011, solely aimed at funding entrepreneurs to the tune of between 2 and 10 million naira each. Right? There was a World Bank report on the impact of that program sometime this year, and I have a few points. By the end of the 3rd year, the 1,200 winners were estimated to have generated more than 7,000 new jobs from this. If you look at the next slide, for new firms, next slide please. Okay, so for existing firms, winning or taking part in this resulted in a 20 percentage points increase in survival over the 3 years. It resulted in a 21% increase in likelihood that this firm has 10 or more workers. It resulted in more innovation and 25% increase in profit just from this program. For new firms, the next slide, the picture is very similar. The impact was more on new firms. So there's a 37% point increase in the likelihood that that firm will still be alive 3 years later. So this gives you a clear picture of the impact of funding for startups. I wouldn't want to take too much time painting this picture. On the other hand, there are major challenges towards facing potential investors. Number one is the issue of trust. Secondly is the issue of profitability. How am I sure that I'm not just giving my money away? Poverty alleviation. As a side note, I have a friend who went into a business and what he used to do was supply sand to companies and all that. And one day, in fact, it was one problem or another between himself and the driver. And one day he went to the driver's house and he told me, he said, I knew what the problem was. Because what he saw in the man's house was way more than what he had in his house. The driver had leather seats, had a flat screen TV, and all of that in his house. Okay, so trust is a real issue. And secondly, management. How am I sure that this fund will be properly managed? And this is where FocusHub and other organizations represented here, including the organizers of this event, come in. We can prefer or provide a first level or whatever level interface between potential investors and startups. We can help with pre-screening. We already have a program for screening startups which we're running currently. We can help with pre-screening. We can help with monitoring and evaluation. Incidentally, one of us is a supervisor on the WIN program. So we have these skills. What I just want to say is we have a responsibility in this room to develop the trust economy. Trust is a major challenge in Nigeria. Right. Time will fail us to touch on other elements of funding. Of course, this is a very short talk. Things like interest rates and conditions of funding and all of that, those will be the subjects of other conversations, maybe here, maybe outside of here. But in conclusion, we cannot overemphasize the importance of startups, of entrepreneurs to the development of an economy, especially, again, an economy that is mining based, that is based on just getting resources out from the ground and doesn't really spread out like Jay mentioned. Poverty alleviation can only happen by creating jobs. That's the only way we can alleviate poverty. Startups need money. Thank you very much.